everybody. Welcome to Honey Badger's chat. Yay, yay. So I have the Honey Badger ladies with me, and I'm going to introduce them since it's been so long since we were able to do this. Honey Badger ladies with me, and I'm going to introduce them.
You.
It's
It's
been
not
so
me.
That's
since we were
me.
able to do this. Did you
Nope,
get it
that was
muted?
me. That was me.
Yeah,
Again.
I made
Okay.
it.
All right. Cool beans. All right. So, first of all, we have this lady. Let me see. It's not working for me. Hang on. There we go. This is Miss Pat. Welcome, Miss Pat. And here we have the infamous Mouse Toes. Everybody say welcome. Her hair has gotten so long. Here we have Mickey. Yay, yay. I'm so glad to have you with me. And then this one here. This is Mom Slayer.
In the dark. In
In
the
the dark. I love it. I love it. And if you don't know who I am Rural Readiness. So I cannot tell how many we have in the chat. That's one thing I don't like about this new format that I'm experimenting with. So I will try, and we've got Prepper X out there, Oxjaw, Juanita. Let's see who else we've got out there that I can see. Virginia H, J. Awesome. Thank y'all so much for joining us. So we got a discussion planned for y'all tonight, and it is about a video that I watched. Jim Beard, welcome. Glad you are here, sir. I can only see the participants in the chat if they talk and they come up in the chat. I can't see a list of who's out there. So for that, I apologize. So I watched a video on a channel, and they were canning zucchini bread in mason jars. So I watched, and I was freaking out. I watched this entire video and I was like, oh my goodness, that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing. I've never agreed with canning cakes or breads in a mason jar and letting them seal and putting them on the shelf for long-term storage. And there are reasons behind my opinion, and I'm going to explain those to you tonight. Hey, Diggers Outdoors, here I am. Awesome. So I discussed this the other night in the Discord chat. And the way I do my job, I do a lot of research for things that I may not have all of the information together in one place for a provider or a physician. So when I do my research, I use reputable sources for information. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? SKS Hugo, good evening. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Miss Juanita's out there. Awesome. So I went to my resources to find some presentable information that I can talk about from serious sources, not somebody said I could do it. I watched a YouTube video and they did it, so I'm going to do it. That's not how I went about this. The first source that I went to was Penn State University.
Woohoo!
Hey, Lady B, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. So they put out an article, and I want to go over that with you tonight about food preservation, setting the record straight on canning breads and cakes. Breads and cakes in glass mason jars are not safe to eat. The risk for contracting a foodborne illness is high due to improper heating methods. So the questions that were asked about, hey, Mary Beth, how are you? Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with everybody. The questions, they were asked questions about canning breads and cakes in mason jars. So they said that the Pennsylvania Farm Show in January, Penn State featured an education booth on home food preservation. The actual process of baking bread or cake in a jar is not canning. The product is baked in an open glass canning jar and then covered with a canning lid upon removing from the oven. There's no further canning process applied afterwards. Hey, living and learning life, how are you? The bread and cake recipes may call for the addition of fruits, liquids, or vegetables, which actually increases the moisture content, making a rich environment for microorganism survival. In addition, the practice does not remove all oxygen, leaving some oxygen available in the jar for microorganisms to survive. Using this technique to preserve breads and cakes is not recommended. Many cakes and quick bread recipes often have little or no acid, resulting in a pH above 4.6. A pH of this level will support the growth of pathogenic organisms that cause foodborne illnesses. There's a great concern about the hazardous bacterium called, and Mickey, go ahead.
It is called Clostridium botulinum.
Yep, that's it, botulism. Growing in these jars after the item has been baked. Botulism is often a fatal foodborne illness. There are reported cases each year of individuals who encountered botulism poisoning through improper canning process. When breads and cakes are made for sale commercially by companies, they use additives, preservatives, and processing controls to ensure the food safety of the finished product. There are no, and I repeat, there are no reliable, safe practices for baking and sealing breads and cakes in canning jars and storing them at room temperature for extended lengths of time. So I think that that's very important thing to understand. And Mickey is in the medical field, so she understands a lot about this botulism. Mouse Toes, Mom Slayer are both seasoned canners. Miss Pat is a beginning canner, and even she mentioned to me that she was shocked. So, what are your opinions about this? Anybody want to jump in?
I saw the same study about Penn State. Clemson did a study. There are a lot of gov.com studies, a lot of studies. So if you're a beginner, you really need to do your research. It is a science, and it's been proven, and you need to go by the rules.
Tell it, Miss Pat, like it is. We have talked about on Badgers before, oven canning. It's not canning. They're simply using mason jars. And talked about in the past, you see people fill up their quart jars with flour, right? My jars got food in them, okay? I got flour in Mylar bags, in buckets. These jars to me are precious. But also, these jars are not designed to be in a 325 or 350 degree oven. They're designed to be in a water environment. Remember, in a water bath, either covered with 2 inches of water or a pressure canner with your recommended amount of water for your canner at the bottom. And what does a pressure canner get up to? 240, a water bath 212. Zucchini you can grow in your bathtub, I'm pretty sure, all winter freaking long. Okay, if you have a couple of pots. I am just not fixing to go out like a punk for some damn zucchini bread. I made some banana bread the other day. I mean, it took me 7 minutes, right? It ain't rocket science, right? I need food in my mason jars. If I need a snack, I can make cookies or whip up a zucchini um, type thing, a zucchini bread. Why risk your whole life? And we've learned a lot of things through a whole lot of time canning. We used to have jars with a very thick rubber ring, like the WEC jars, WECK, and the Tatler lids have. We had to turn them upside down to get them to seal. We don't do that anymore. But I hate that it is called canning bread because it is not safe. If you want a better place for the botulism, it's the spore, to thrive, put it in a moist, lack of oxygen environment. And it ain't got no smell and it ain't got no taste. And I ain't fixing to get no sick for some damn bread in a jar.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is right. Mom Slayer, come on out of the dark.
Well, X just said that I'm in like the Rebel Canning Witness Protection Program or something, and
Yeah,
and
now-
I do Rebel Can. And Mouse yelled at me again not very long ago, very politely, I might say.
I can be nice.
Yes,
It goes against my nature, but I love Mom, so I did.
but you have to get reputable sources. You can't be watching this video of, hey, this is the first time I'm doing it.
Mhm.
So I don't know how many views that they had. You know, let's do this. This is smart. Well, you're breaking so many canning rules right off the bat that should have been red flags to people who know how to can.
There are, last I saw, there's 28,131 views on this video. There's also 1,700 likes and only 23 dislikes. So I figure in the comments that I reviewed, I figure there's going to be at least 1,700 cases of botulism coming from that. Because the comments were like, oh, I didn't have a clue you could do this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to get, I'm going to do this. No, bad idea.
When you start to put coconut oil or any oil around the inside of your jar to make it easier to come out, you ain't fixing to be canning, you're fixing to be sick. You cannot put flour. First, it is not canning. What people should call it is a cute round loaf in a mason jar, cooked in the oven, right? But the lid is irrelevant, the ring is relevant. Don't call it canning because people already fight you over water bath canning and pressure canning.
Right.
Back in the day when we didn't have a pressure canner, we used to put some vinegar in with our green beans, right? You don't do that anymore. We've learned more and more things. You can easily make someone a cute quart mason jar with the flour in the bottom, wrap up the brown sugar in something and put a little note on it, add 2 eggs, cook at 325. The only ways any of those recipes are safe is you slide it out of that mason jar that you put in your dang oven because you didn't can nothing, and then wrap it in plastic wrap and aluminum and stick it in your freezer. That's the only way that's safe. But I hate that it's called oven canning. There's no freaking such thing. And you make people think this is great and fun. This stuff right here, chicken, okay, canned, pork, this is serious crap that can make somebody sick. Don't misrepresent to novices and younger people who think, oh, that'll be so cute. And they might have a mason jar rattling us around somewhere, might have a few chips in it, but I'm going to give that a try. And do you know how easy it is for one of those jars to crack when you take that out of the oven and set it out and change the temperature for it? That'd be a sweet little cut your finger down to the bone. So it really gave me the glow butt. I'm not going to lie about it, because people will listen blindly to someone. Listen, ball, okay? There's books. It
Mhm.
breaks it all down.
Mhm.
Just be a knuckle dragger. Follow an approved recipe. It ain't rocket science and it is not hard. It is step by step. I don't do a single recipe without making sure it's approved. If I say can my own home canned spaghetti, I make sure what percentage of onions do I have? I'm gonna have tomatoes in it, so I've got to have some lemon juice, some citric acid in it. If old canners can follow the rules, and I've never made anybody sick, right?
Right.
Do not let microorganisms bloom in that. And if at the most thing if I have friends who are teachers, anybody gives you canned goods, you throw them away. I don't care how cute it is.
Exactly.
Did they have a cat or dog on their counter? Did they have dirt under their fingernails? What their house look like? I would eat food from anybody here, but we know that we're neurotically clean. I handle pork, whether I'm doing lard, I got gloves on my hand because I'm going to touch my cabinet knob, my refrigerator door. If
Mhm.
you cannot be sterile and exercise some food safety, you ain't got no business canning nothing. That's what I got to
Bingo.
say.
Go.
Okay.
Make somebody sick. I would feel horrific if Miss Pat took a
Oh,
recipe of mine off
man.
and got sick, whether she had nausea, diarrhea, anything. I would feel absolutely, absolutely horrific because we don't
Yeah.
put our Rebel Cannon stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
I can bacon, but when you come to my house, I don't serve it to you. That's why I got
Exactly.
freezers. Yeah. So sorry, I went on a rant, but that's
No,
how.
that's
No,
fine. Absolutely.
go on Pinterest and Etsy. You will see hundreds and hundreds of beautiful pictures of canned bread and cakes,
Oh,
claiming that it's canned, and they put that lid on it. Naturally, it's going to seal when it comes out of that hot oven and all that steam. That lid is going to suck down and seal.
oh.
And they say, see, it's sealed. That's not chef stable. No.
Amen,
Right.
sister. We could put, what do you call a hand warmer thing that looks like a little bean bag? I could
Yeah.
stick a freaking hand warmer in an empty mason jar and put the damn lid on it, and I got $5, it sucks it down. Did I
Yeah.
just can a hand warmer? What the
Yeah.
hell is wrong with people? I didn't even have to
Yeah.
put the damn thing in the.
They
Don't
just
kill
Yeah.
me.
belongs to
But
them.
there's nothing done to it after that to kill any botulism that may
No.
be able to develop after they put the lid on that jar with that cake in there. It's just hot. It's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
even up to temperature.
It's
There's a
natural.
Moist.
reason.
With
It's
that
moist.
lack of oxygen. It's
Yeah.
natural.
Yep.
And where does bacteria thrive? Ooh, it's moist. How come we got athlete's foot in high school? Because all our parents were too damn poor. They didn't have fit flip flops, right?
Yep.
So it was a moist environment, right?
Yep. That's right.
So
Something else I'd like to throw in comment on what Mel said. She said you add vinegar. Okay. You have to watch the acidity level, and you can't just if you're going to add lemon juice, make sure it's the 5% acidity
mhm.
that's already been tested. And even that there, I believe that's 25% more acidity than you actually need in that 5%. You
Right.
have to have the pH above 4.0. So just you're taking a chance even using fresh lemons and limes. You have to make sure it has that 5% stamped on the bottle. You have to use something that's already been tested.
See,
Yeah.
what you're saying is brilliant. I love two Lilu. It used to be Lilu preserves. I think it's two Lilu creates now. Brilliant canner, right? Been to the can in college, stuff like that. And in this new ball book was something that you said you could use fresh lemon. Now, she could can in her sleep, can with the flu. You know what I mean? She's going to know her headspace. She's going to know which canner to use. And she went ahead and called them up and said, hold on. We've always been told to use bottled lemon juice, just like mom was talking about the controlled percentage in that vinegar. And she made sure she got the right answer. But it's one they tested for like 6 years. but it's only one recipe in there. But I had great respect that she called them. Wasn't like, woo, because I grow, lemons out my nose here. And I didn't think, oh, instead of using bottled lemon juice, I'll just use one of our Meyers. I like that she called, got information, and then shared it with her viewers. She could have been like, well, if it says it in that book, you can do it with any book, any recipe, that you don't need to use bottled. So people who've been canning a lot, you have a responsibility when you are doing some tutorials, some how-tos on how to can to a YouTube audience. I get millions of questions and I answer all of them because I'm happy to answer them. Because I remember my first pressure canning without my mother, my hands were shaking. And then I looked at that chicken for like 2 weeks going, I'm not sure I want to eat it. Right. And then my husband went, well, we'll die together. Is our will up to date? You know what I mean? And we knew we did everything right. But you're looking at this thing, right? It looks like an alien's baby, right? And then the bone it. I mean, they're ugly. You're like, damn, just what Miss Pat said. It's science, right? So take it serious. But I would be devastated if somebody, just like I tell people, email me and say, what do you think my pressure is? This is where I live. I Google where they are, right? This is your altitude. So you're going to be at 15 pounds. Let's look in the front of the ball book. And people want to be helped, but I would be mortified if a recipe I did for canning was not a safe one, approved by whether it's Ball, whether it's your local extension service. Take it serious. It's like showing somebody how to use a weapon, right? How to clean a gun, point it at you, stick the little, come on, do it right. So it is science and it is serious because we are preppers. We're preparing chicks. That's what we're doing. I'm not trying to make cute ass bread. I'm trying to have protein and a well-balanced meal. Like when I couldn't get out of my house, didn't have power after this hurricane, and couldn't get out of my house for 10 days in the aquapocalypse. Now, let's get sick. We're an ambulance, not an ambulance. An ambulance can get through the high water to come get my old ass. And I die on my husband. Now he's in here with a stinking corpse. It's like, yeah, screw
Yeah,
And
and not to mention, when you do this, you have a chance of cracking that jar and ingesting broken glass
Yeah.
because jars are not designed for the dry heat process in the oven. So,
and let's stick a knife in there, a utility. What do you call a utensil? A utensil to loosen it up. Let's keep etching our jar. So I don't know. The next time we cook with it, we got an issue or a little something funky gets stuck up in there. That's why God made spatulas that are made of silicone. Okay, or pokey Jews, all the stuff you get with your accoutrement for your camera is plastic, right? I got a pokey Joe, man. That in case of fire, I'm running out with my damn pokey Joe.
yeah.
Now, you mentioned something that's very important. Know your altitude. You must know your altitude. And the best way I found to find that is to go online. You can Google your city and it'll come up. And anyway, it will send you to Wikipedia.
Ah.
Wikipedia will give you the history of your town and all that. But over on the right-hand side of the stats, and one of them is elevation. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I did that, and my altitude is 644 feet.
Wow.
So you have to know your altitude when you're trying to calculate that pressure on that pressure cooker.
Yep.
Okay, and that's something with the water bath too. Just boiling the water, like if you're going to do the vegetables, the low acid vegetables and stuff, just boiling water at 212 degrees is not enough to kill the botulism spores, but it is hot enough to destroy the toxins that they produce. But the recommendation is that when you are serving them to your family for the same altitude that you are, that's how long you cook it, like 10 minutes. And then if you're above, like I believe it's every 1,000 feet you add a minute. That's how long you recook it for. You boil it to make it safe.
Yeah.
because, although you killed the toxins, you just have
Yeah,
to make it.
and water boils at lower temperatures as the altitude increases.
See,
So
it
you
is
must
interesting.
know that altitude.
It's just what you said, Miss Pat. It's science. And listen,
Yeah.
ain't nobody even got to have an interweb connection. It's in the damn book. These books are designed for canners.
Yeah, this
Read,
part.
you can. So it's not like I can read it. Get the damn book. Make a copy of your friend's book. Everybody's got a damn printer. Take a picture
Yeah.
of it with your phone.
There's a chart right here in the ball book.
See, it ain't hard. This is
Uh-uh.
one of the groovy things I like. I made a video beginning canning for pressure canners. Okay, my intent was like for it to be short, but it turned into like 30 minutes because I was petrified of missing a step, and it was specifically on my Presto. So I got a lot of, and I still get messages every time before my pressure canning session because they say I haven't been canning long. I read my manual, right? I check my ring, I make sure a toothpick goes through my vent pipe, all those things. And then I watch your video again. That will make you go, yeah, I'm glad that was 30 minutes long because they like the fact that they can't. I still hang on a post it note the steps, okay? Because real life is happening. You're tired. You've been in your garden. Piglet!
Hey, Piglet.
I know. I have been speechless listening to you.
Look with
I love
you.
your face.
Welcome,
Turn your
Piglet.
volume up,
Hey,
baby.
I'm so glad that you were able to make it in.
Yeah, actually, we were coloring and I lost track of time with my grandson, and now he's ready to play soccer. And I'm like, oh crap, I have somewhere to be. And then Mouse is here. I
Yes.
love you, ladies. Don't get me wrong, but I miss my mouse.
Me and Piglet are connected. We always have. We're two rough broads.
Yeah.
We're the broads. Y'all are the ladies. We're like the
I'm the
broads.
only
Oh,
one.
no,
You need to come into Discord with us. I need some assistance, Mouse.
I hate Discord. I abhor it. I cannot Discord. I cannot. I'm old.
Piglet.
I've been there before.
Darling, turn your volume up.
Who?
Piglet.
You.
Piglet.
How do I do that?
Let's see.
Nina, you might have somewhere to
Are
do
you
it. Are
I'm
you
on
on your
my
phone?
phone, so that may be the problem.
Yeah, it's
Well, I was
everything on-
trying to see if I could adjust her sound. And I
have
don't
trouble
see
with
that
the
I
tapes
can.
on here. Let's see.
Now, Tina has a canon question. This is off the cake subject. She pressure canned Roma tomatoes and forgot to add either lemon juice or citric acid. Yeah. I was told not to toss or reprocess.
One
Will
time,
that
I
be
did that one time, Mom's, and she told me how to fix it.
What'd your mom tell you, Piglet?
Mom's told me that if I did it, stop it, let it all cool off, open them, put it in it, and restart it.
And
There you
change
go.
your lids. You have
Yeah.
to change your lids too.
Yes. Yeah. It's
I
full
changed
stop on
the lids out.
tomatoes.
It worked.
Yeah.
I panicked
I've
there
got to
for a
where
minute
I
because I
mark
couldn't
my
remember.
lids used.
Yep. See, moms just saved Piglet from like a untimely, torturous death. And you know, everybody be wondering, you ever watch those shows like Infested, but it's like in their brain? They come back from Brazil and they have
Yeah.
all these weird, it's not
I
infested,
was
it's some
freaking out.
parasite, cootie bug, some kind of crap. That's what it would be. I'd be like laid up at the University of South Carolina. Look, I got a Piggly Wiggly shirt on, everybody. I know you're jealous. It's my favorite. I love the pig. Be wondering, like looking for a pair. No, the hooker, all she got, the old broad, she ate up with the botulism. By the time they found out, you know what I mean? Because my husband wouldn't be ratting me out. Okay, he wouldn't be saying nothing. Okay, because he'd be afraid insurance wouldn't cover it. Too
Yep.
bad.
So
Yep.
how did
I don't
you
have life insurance.
go?
So.
How did you fix your issue, Piglet? Go back over that again for I believe it was Tina that had the question.
Okay. If I remember it correctly, Mom's jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. she said the canner, let it all cool down, take the jars out, open them, put I use the acid. I don't use lemon juice. The ball citric, I guess whatever it is. I don't know what you call it, but it's for adding into tomatoes if you need more acid or something. So I did that and used new lid rings on and processed through. I'd only had them in long enough that they had just started boiling. When it hit me, I could not remember putting it in. And I was freaking out because I thought, great, I'm going to do the whole thing of tomatoes. And
Yeah.
I've like put out an emergency call, canning thing, and able to get to me. Am I right, moms? Is that what you told me?
Yes, ma'am. That's
Awesome.
why Mouse was saying she has a list. And
Mhm.
there's so many times my husband will come in while I'm doing something, ask me a question, and I'll think,
Yep.
what's that? So it is good practice to have a list and check it off as you're going down.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
so from now
so
on, I go by recipe and I check it too.
Mhm.
And I take everything out that I have to have and put it right there on the counter by all the tools.
Yep.
So
And
I
I'm looking
see
right now in the ball book, and it shows even for pressure canning, you add the lemon juice. Call it. They make citric acid packs. I don't know what the hell that is. I just use bottled lemon juice, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
well, I didn't have any, or what I did have was really old
yeah.
about it. So that's why I did it.
You know what I just learned? Publix. I used to love Publix. I don't have access to a Publix here, but I did in the upstate. And of course, being a canner, I done stockpiled my ass some lemon juice. Well, I went to open one because it was way in the corner and it was crusty. Just what Pickett said. It surprised me when I poured, you shake it, pour it out. I always pour it into a spoon first. I don't just free pour. It's like, whoa, that's brown. And then I poured it out into a glass and it was crusty. It was nasty. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was creepy.
Yep.
Yep, that's what Tina said. The boys came in, they wanted something to eat, got her distracted. And if nothing else, Tina, you're like, okay, now I'm gonna have to make spaghetti sauce within 2 days. You put those jars in the refrigerator, and then you make it then. But it's epic too. That's why I write down. If you see my videos, I write it down. My headspace, my vent start, everything. And when I do tomatoes, I have all my jars lined up and sterile, and I add that lemon juice. It's first thing, and you clearly see it sitting in the jar, especially when you add your liquid. You'll know, whoop, okay, no lemon juice in that one.
Yep. So someone had a question. Why is headspace important? Okay, listen. This was a man that asked the question, so that's okay. That he wanted to know the reason behind the headspace. Okay,
Okay.
why is that important?
You know how some men like women with big butts and other men are leg men? That ain't got a damn thing to do with headspace. If this book tells you that it's got half-inch of headspace, a quarter-inch of headspace for jam, an inch for meats, you just go with the information because it's science, science, science. I'm just saying. Yeah, I ain't got no freaking idea. But
I just read
Okay.
the reason why there's different
expand in the jar.
headspaces.
Piglet's going to break it down. Break it down,
Yes,
homegirl.
Piglet, why? Why do we have to have a certain headspace?
Why do we need
They
headspace?
said the reason
I like
spaced
big
correctly
butts.
is to keep the oxygen out as much as possible and to have enough room for expansion
Yep.
Bingo.
processing.
Things go up, they go down. They go up. Yeah, they all go down when you're old.
I
That's
know
That
for
reminds
it
me of
because
another.
I
Yep.
just read it on a. I need to remember that.
Mhm.
So I did.
Absolutely.
Exactly, Juanita. That cake is moist and it will hold and cause microorganisms to grow. Okay? People know about athlete's foot, yeast infections. Don't get that in your damn canning jars. Okay? Practice some food safety. It's freaking bread. You can make that in an open on your damn open fire, okay, by taking 2 bread pans, turning another one over, and cook the snot out of it, right?
That's
Mhm.
right.
Don't die over
That's
bread.
right.
Mhm.
That's
And do
right.
not say, "Oh, my mama always did it. Ain't nobody got sick." Where's your mama? My mama's dead. Okay. Yeah. So
I have missed that woman so bad.
listen, when I
Mm.
used to work at a Gloria Marshall figure salon when I was in college, and ladies would come in and I'd be behind them and I'd be trying to pull that measuring thing around and go, "Tell me when you gained your weight." When I had my baby. You know what my question was? How old's your baby? 20. Okay, she's fat.
Yeah.
She eats too much, right? But that's what it is. She may have gained her weight when she had a baby, but now she's just fat. The kid's 20 years old. It just is what it is. Some people just go, "Listen, I'm old. I'm gray headed. I got a bad attitude. I just soon pop a cap in your asses. Look at, just tell the truth about who you are. I'm a fat girl. You know, I'm a mean girl. I'm a happy girl. I don't do bread canning in the oven because it's not canning and it'll kill me. I'm not
That's
an
right.
idiot. Don't be an idiot."
That's right.
And
Yeah.
and as content creators, we have a responsibility to the people that watch our videos.
That's right.
Right.
We feel if we put out bad information and hurt somebody with it.
Mhm.
Yep.
That is right. Exactly.
You
So the
can't taste it. It's just there.
Yeah, no odor.
No odor, no taste. And the bad thing is it's a neurotoxin.
Yes.
So it affects your nervous system. And oh shoot, what did I say last week?
yes, that's what I was going to do is tell you to go over the effects botulism has.
It hits your respiration and then you
That's right.
aspirate.
And
Basically.
can paralyze. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like
So
bad tuna.
you get the flaccid face, which no control over that. It affects your respiratory. So imagine giving this to a child that doesn't have the strength to say, "Hey, mom, something's going on here." You're going to kill them. And this all takes place. The signs usually appear 12 to 36 hours after eating it. And some documented cases that range from 4 hours to 8 days. So you never know when it's going to appear. But as soon as it does, you need to do something about it.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
Well, but like a lot of people might take the symptoms as something else.
Everybody lean
especially
up.
like for me.
Piglet's on. Hang on.
Yeah, Piglet, you're
You're
Piglet, you're
going up right.
sideways.
I can't
Like,
hear you.
like for me, the symptoms would mimic a flare.
Mhm.
So I
Right.
might not pay attention to it.
okay, Mickey, let me ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Mickey? I love
Is
it.
this, Mickey,
Yes.
is this not the same bacteria that if it enters a wound could cause gangrene?
That is Clostridium.
Is a cousin?
It's a cousin.
It's a
Okay.
cousin.
It's
But
a
it's
Big
that,
cousin on the pawpaw side too. Dirty
yeah,
cousin.
it's
Mhm.
Clostridium difficile.
that's dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is very bad. I cannot tell you how many body parts we've amputated because of that. It's nasty.
Why are you not supposed to can taters with the damn skin on? Granted, people do it. Don't go, "Oh my God, I've been eating taters with skin on." Maybe you can scrub them better than I can. I take the skin off my potatoes because
Me too.
it's in the dirt. It's naturally occurring in the environment. I ain't putting it in a sterile can. I mean, what do? Get in there with a toothbrush and clean every freaking eye? It's potatoes. They're like freaking free at the store, like zucchini. And hell, you can grow them, you
Right.
know?
And the
And
sad
there's-
thing is, besides the let me get to it. Besides botulism, you can get a staph infection, you can get a strep infection. That is considered food poisoning also.
Mhm.
It all grows in a oxygen-free environment.
Mhm.
So just because it's not botulism doesn't mean it's not food poisoning still.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
you hear, "Oh, but you can get BMM bread." And it's just what Nina read to us. Commercial processors, first, they follow incredibly strict guidelines. They are safety testing constantly. They have the ability to do things in their commercial environment we cannot do at home. I don't care if you're a rocket scientist, right? A butt doctor. I don't care what, a dentist. You cannot recreate those things at home that they do because of the preservatives, but they are constantly safety testing them. Remember when we were all getting sick? Not all of us, but lots of people were getting sick from making cake mix. Remember certain cake mixes? People
Yep.
were making a cake and getting sick, food poisoning, because they had some egg in it. Just like you can't put egg in a canning recipe. I saw 50 eggs go in that damn
Yeah.
thing, 17
Right.
cups of oil. I was like, oh my God, right? I was just freaking out watching
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Oh, that
But
was the first thing I thought of too. When Nina said she was baking that, it's like eggs. You don't
yeah,
can eggs.
no, or pasta or flour. It's why you use
Right.
clear gel. If you ever mess up and you make your cute little apple pie filling in a little quart or pint jar, and you mess up and didn't get clear gel, and you use your cornstarch, it will look like mutant embryos in that jar, right? It's absolutely hideous because it breaks it down different, just like you can't can with rice. How hard is it to make chicken and rice? Can you damn chicken? Right? There's my chicken. I only feeding 2 people, so I'm a pint person. I mean, I got quarts. I just ain't got crap in them. Right? So I got my dehydrated stuff in quarts. And then you make rice. You can make rice on open fire. You can buy
That's
minute
right.
rice or cook your own rice, dehydrate it, and it is minute rice. It ain't hard.
Right.
Put it on a piece of bread. Well, you
Rice,
got to know how to make bread or a damn biscuit. You know,
That's
rice
right.
is the
I'm a
easiest thing
pioneer
to
person.
cook.
Mhm.
Say that again, Piglet.
Rice is the easiest thing to cook. I learned you just put 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water, let it boil for 20 minutes, take it off, it's done.
Yep.
Yep.
That's right. Bubbling your things that you can with the infamous Pokey Joe mouse toes to remove. The purpose of bubbling is our deep.
We speak
Lordy,
English, Nina.
Debubbling.
Nina
the,
speaks Southern.
the purpose
Debubbling.
of debubbling mouse toes.
We can use sign language. Please hard. Okay.
Yep. With the Pokey
Yes, dear.
Joe. That's right.
You can make your regular rice and then stick it in your dehydrator, and you done got yourself some minute rice. You can't do it with brown rice because brown rice is just some funky, go bad, ain't good
Yeah.
for 6 months stored. But you
Yeah.
dehydrate it, and then it's a matter of just adding hot water. I do it all
There
the
you
time.
go.
If I have leftover paschetti or any kind of pasta, not thick ones, like pennes, I dehydrate them. And then if I just want, like, it's 11 o'clock at night and this little chubby girl's like, I got me a hankering, right, for some pasta, is God knows I got enough jars of stuff to pour on it. And I just boil some hot water, either in the microwave or on the stove. And I got myself a little midnight snack. My husband don't get none because he goes to bed at 9:30. What he don't know don't hurt him, you know? Yeah.
Yep.
We
Absolutely.
have missed you,
Absolutely.
mouse toes.
What, Piglet?
I said, we have missed you.
Yeah, I get fired up about canning. We all do. It's just
Mhm.
our jam.
Yeah.
There,
The first
Lou.
thing
Lou keeps
everybody
the
said
brown
was,
rice in the freezer
oh,
because Lou is smart. Be like Lou. Be a Lou.
everybody said, oh my goodness, has Mouse seen the video yet?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I just watch some things that scare me. And I will go scrolling through comments. And if they're a sub of mine, you better believe if I have a way or I can attach a comment, I'm like, you better back off. Okay. Because when you're in the ambulance, okay, I don't want you to go, mouse toes kill. That was not my recipe. Okay. And I also tell people where the hell I got a recipe, right? Whether it's raw, I usually say on page, right?
Mhm.
And show it. It's like canning chili, right? You make chili and I can can what I have left over. But I make sure I go look at the Ball or the Clemson extension or any other approved, really, people who do safety testing at their recipes. Is anything funky in my recipe? There ain't no pig foot in it, okay? Because you can't can, right? So you just do a little bit of research, but don't count on other people who go, we've done a lot of research. You haven't done bleep research
Yeah.
when you add oil. And don't call it canning. Just call it, I want to have a funky mason jar shaped bread in a jar, but it is not canning. Canning is water bath or pressure canned. And you can make yourself sick on it, and you can sure as hell make yourself sick on canning bread. And I don't care that you've done it for 15 years, you done eat some banana bread you had in a jar since 1972, because you're lying.
Yeah.
And you can always bring me a jar and say, look, 1972's on it. Well, hell, you just wrote it. You know?
And
Yeah.
they're doing it all.
Even the Clemson Cooperative Extension says, therefore, Clemson Extension strongly discourages consumers from canning cakes and breads in jars. Botulism is a serious and often fatal disease, and no consumer should take unnecessary risks with this microorganism. If someone gives you a home canned cake or bread product, assume that it is unsafe to eat and discard the contents.
Mm-hmm.
It says avoid purchasing canned breads and cakes in glass jars unless they contain additives to prevent microbial growth and meet all labeling requirements for commercial foods. The alternatives to canning breads and cakes, they go on to talk about how the home canner is not able to commercially produce and preserve, add the correct additives that are needed to make canned bread safe. So that's from the Clemson Cooperative Extension.
I have that same report right here, and it also says if someone gives you a home canned cake or bread product, thank them,
Yes.
assume that it is unsafe,
Mhm.
and discard it as soon as you get home.
And
That's
if you
right.
got a dog, make sure you dug it deep to bury it. I won't eat anybody's business. Mm-mm. I tell my teacher friends, don't do it first. They might hate you, right?
Yeah.
Because you gave a kid a C or you're their least favorite teacher. And those jars sure are cute. And then give them the jars back if you want. If they don't want them back, give them to me. But do not eat it. I got a good picture here I'd like to share. If I can figure out how to screen share, which I sucked at back in the day when it was
At
not.
the bottom of the screen, do you have a where it says stop cam settings share screen?
Let's see. Let me open my screen fatter. Oh yeah, now I see it. Share screen. Okay,
There
so
you
I
go.
click it. Okay. If anything
Yep.
happens or we blow up, it's all my fault. That still don't mean you should can bread. Don't do anything stupid. It's easiest with two monitors. Yeah, I got two monitors. Geez, really? Okay. Oh yeah, I blew it just like I blew my last one. Do I have to lower this? Can you see my funky monkey here?
Yeah.
I see your face. Your
Oh, you
beautiful
see my face.
face.
Oh wait, there it was. There was the funky thing. Okay, it is across your entire screen. Let me lower it again. Can you see the tomato infected funky jar?
No,
No.
ma'am.
No.
Okay, damn it, I broke it. Okay,
Piglet sideways again.
Yeah,
okay.
Piglet, you're sideways.
See, this is crazy. All right,
Well, I
so
flipped
I
it
can't.
around.
I thought
There
Piglet was
you go.
advertising over there.
I'm gonna try. It doesn't make any sense. Your entire screen. That is what I was trying to do. Let me try one more time and then I won't. Screen sharing was canceled. Make sure on share on the modal and not cancel. Bite me, okay? I did. Ooh,
Do
I
you
don't
have to
appreciate it
choose?
telling me what to do. Now can you
Do you
see?
have two monitors? Do you have
No,
two
Ma'am.
monitors?
I don't have two monitors. Who the hell has two
Oh,
monitors? I'm
me.
sitting on my dining room table, for God's
I have
sake.
three actually, but that's because I work.
You work from home. Right. See, there it is. You can see it and then it goes away. It's disgusting. I don't know. And see, it doesn't give me
Share your application instead of your screen.
application window. Ooh, ooh, you're a genius. You see it now?
Tina,
Do you see it?
Hang on. I got it. Hang on.
Okay.
There we go. Look at there.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
That is tomatoes that developed a
No, that's
bacteria.
disgusting.
Don't that make you want to lick your screen?
Oh
Ooh.
God.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna quit sharing. But when we're talking about bacteria, we're not just making stuff up. You know what I'm saying? We're not just trying to be turds. You know, we're just not trying to be a bunch of hoochie drama queens. It's
Yep.
serious stuff. And I'm gonna tell you about this channel. It's called, I'll find it and I'll put a link in the side. Appalachia's Homestead with Patara, Patara. She has a video called No, No, No in Canning. And you will know when you lose the seal on a jar, you'll walk through your canning pantry and be like, right? Then first
That's
figure
right.
out where your husband was. Did he walk through there barefoot? Did he just cut one? He's a freaking man. He stinks. That's the truth, right? Now, if it's like at night, you know he's in bed or he showered and all that, you know something in the canning pantry. So she found that one. But like me, she doesn't leave the dang ring on. So it was able to freely pop. Her video is brilliant on the no, no, no's. Had she had a ring on it, I mean tight, not a loose ring like some people do, that bacteria would have been forced down into that jar and she may not have smelled it. And then once she poured it in to like make spaghetti or something, you wouldn't notice that little bit of funk. But because her lid was able to pop open, all her other cans stayed sealed, only that one didn't. I
Right.
have sat here before 3 days and hear a ping and have to go through every damn jar in there and feel which one popped off because crap happens, right?
Yeah.
It's just that you didn't do anything wrong in the recipe. You didn't do anything wrong with doing the lid. You might have had a funky lid, but stuff like that happens. Now, if you can 8 things and they all pop off, you better go look at your recipe, go to a proctologist and get crap worked out because you just messed
Right.
up. You ain't got that many bad lids. You know that.
Yep.
So when we talk about a microorganism, you ain't gonna see it in that bread. You ain't gonna see it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That is
we're not
right.
picking on
And
them.
and
They're not
sometimes your headspace will mess you up. Like if your headspace is off,
Mhm.
you will have evacuation happen. And what that means is some of your food contents will escape the jar when it's processing and cause your seal not to work. And that, and cause your seal to fail. So that's another reason that the headspace is important.
Yep. And it's not hard to do it right. Just do it right. If you got to be in a hurry and you got too much going on, ain't a good day to can. So maybe your tomatoes go to crap. Maybe you throw them in a gallon Ziploc and chunk them in the freezer, and then you get your act together when you have more time. You're
Yeah.
never, ever in such a big hurry that you've absolutely positively got to get it done. And wait, listen, don't skip the 10-minute vent time, right? On your canner, whether it's an All-American or a Presto or an Old Miro. Follow the directions or it isn't safe. And don't go, oh, and now here's something else. You know how people like do a couple runs in their canner and damn, it's 1 a.m. They go, okay, I can turn the burner off. I'm just going to leave the jars in there overnight. No, 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 no. What is that called? Something sour. I've had it happen to a friend who did it. She called me over and said, smell one of her jars didn't seal and it smelled sour. So we popped it and she had left them in her canner overnight, turned the burner off. Wasn't time to take the lid. It's like leaving them in a water bath, right? It calls something sour. It's a word for home preservation gone wrong. And so that it's that simple. Like if you know, because listen, I hate waiting for that canner when it's the 3rd run, right? For the dial gauge to go down and the little petcock, but it's not, it's what I call it, drops down, then wait 10 minutes to open it because by then you're unconscious on the sofa, right? But if
Right.
you do it, you can mess up, those 8 pints or 7
That's
quarts
too
that
much
you ran through
food,
it.
and that's too much food investment to do wrong.
Exactly. And
Just
time. Yeah,
follow the
flat sour.
directions.
Tina knew flat sours. Flat sours are real, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I have too much money underneath this bed right here that's
Yep.
canned, and I'm gonna do it right.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, can responsibly. And if you don't call oven canning. You put some damn mason jars with some crap shouldn't be in a mason jar in the damn oven, right? That's and then you're going to call that, then you're going to put it on your pantry shelves. You know, you can get bad stuff from Del Monte, right?
Yeah.
You can get. I mean, how many food recalls have we had recently? It's scary,
Mhm.
And that's
right?
why you go get stuff,
Yeah.
you always check your cans. Make sure they don't
Yes.
have dents in them. Make sure they
Mhm.
don't have rust on them.
Mhm.
Make sure this, that, and the other, so you know they're not contaminated with botulism.
Mhm. It's what makes, we've talked about this before, the pull tops, you know, because none of us can drive a can opener anymore because all these women got these like pizza shoes, you know, with the points, and they got these scapulas for fingernails, and they can't drive a can opener. If you get pineapple in that pop top, those damn things explode in your pantry. And you're like, it ain't
Yep.
even bad for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
Tina has them too.
Speaking of those rings, like when you were talking about Patera, the rings, she took the
Yes.
rings off.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you don't stack jar on top of jar, too.
Preach.
Go, Miss Pat.
Yes, sister.
I
Tell
mean,
me.
Yeah, that's why when I came here to Stephanie's, I put them all under the bed so that they're just a single layer, and my
Mhm.
granddaughter can't get to them.
Yes. Yep. Let me find her channel.
Yeah, she found some on the side and wanted to open them. I'm like, no.
hey,
Oh, yeah.
Mom, how you doing out there in the dark?
I love
Mom's
it.
like scared of the dark.
We might see some action when Bigfoot walks up out there.
That's right.
Or is one of the frogs scared again?
Moms, are you scared of frogs?
I don't
Can
believe
she
she
not
can.
hear us?
Mom's a layer.
The screen looks frozen on her end.
She may be
Chat
locked up.
control. Mom's a
You know,
layer.
that
She
might
was
be
having
Bigfoot
trouble.
sitting there.
She was having trouble in
Damn, she
Discord.
done got
So
8, Miss Pat.
Yeah, that's Bigfoot sitting there.
Yep. Finga says she froze up. And I put the link to Patera's, that video, to
Yeah.
break it down right there. And she's a very experienced canner. Yeah.
I gotta show you something.
Okay. Mom's was taking a
This-
safety net.
Oh hell, I want Mom to see it. This was my Mother's Day gift. I'm not a
Oh,
kid.
Piglet.
Oh, that's cute.
And since Miranda got married, now my oldest is 18, and it goes all the way through to my Bailey bug, who is not quite 18 months.
Oh,
Awesome.
it's lovely.
Yeah, because I said I wanted to get another ring to add Noah and Bailey because they weren't born when my ring was done. Well, my other daughter moved in with her boyfriend. He's got a girl, so I'm gonna hold off because I may need a ring for 3 names.
Yep.
Awesome.
Casey,
Awesome.
KC says they had one jar that sealed fine, and 2 months later was checking the jars. Something smelled bad. The lid failed. They threw it out, jar and all.
No.
That's
Yep.
good.
Yep. That's the way to do it.
That's
Awesome.
good.
Throw out the jar too. You don't open it and evaporate.
Well, if it's got a
the
chip in
away.
it, you can't use it anyway. If it's got a
Yep.
microscopic crack, plus
Mhm.
if it does, you don't want the glass shards getting in because they will cut your esophagus and your stomach and all your intestines if you
Yeah.
ingest it.
It's like swallowing razor blades. I don't
Yeah.
recommend that either.
So you just throw the whole thing away.
Yep.
Okay.
Let
Yeah.
me get a jar and show you a funky thing.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Alien baby.
where are y'all getting your lids now?
I'm still using up some of my older ones that have the thicker rubber on them.
Well, I don't have that, so I'm gonna have to start buying some because I got like 16 cases of quarts. I don't know how many pints and half pints from a lady who just quit canning,
Oh,
and she charged me $7 for the quart.
nice. This
Mhm.
jar right here if you can see it, dead center of this jar
Yeah.
is a discoloration.
Mm-hmm.
This was a 2012. I just found it because I'm rearranging my pantry because, I'm old and I'm probably going to die. So I'm trying to get rid of a whole bunch of crap that'll get on my husband's last nerve. So this had pinto beans in it with an onion. And it's the last 2012 I had. This I even soaked in vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and the side of the jars is discolored to where you can kind of see the bean. So I'm sort of like KC. This jar is going in the garbage can, right? Because
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
it's not embedded in the glass, right? It's not. It's there and it will not come out. And it's a little freaky. So another jar bites the dust. But it's a smallmouth jar and I hate those anyway.
Right.
They're flower vase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I prefer the wide mouth jars all the
Yes.
way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
phasing out all of the small mouth jars that I got,
Yeah.
phasing them out because the wide mouth is so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It is.
I wanted
Well, I got the
to
regular
Piglet.
so I'm gonna stick with it.
Piglet,
Yep.
you were asking about
Yes.
the lids.
Yes,
I still
ma'am.
get my ball lids at Walmart. But Danny and Wanda on Deep South Homestead recommend the silver lids over the gold lids in the South because of the humidity.
Yeah, I saw those. They're they actually say they're made of a different metal, I believe, or something. I'm not
Yeah,
real sure.
and they prefer the silver over the gold.
I've noticed that the gold will rust faster. Even with the rings, all the rings are
Yeah,
separate in a
yeah.
box, and yeah, I've noticed a discoloration on them. I might try that then, because I'm definitely in the South.
Oh yeah. We're in the warm spot. We were at a couple of Yankees up in here.
Hey, I heard someone just went through a hurricane or a
Oh yeah.
tropical storm.
Mm-hmm. Listen, is anything more frightening than Dorian was? What a monster. So this will make you laugh. So this is very interesting to us. I'm in like some kind of little protected hamlet of a nook because we lost freaking power for 3 days, but and it was well off the coast of South Carolina. But the coast of South Carolina is at an angle. I'm way down here in the corner in the dark. My husband and I didn't get any whippy winds. We put some boards. He put some board. That's the proverbial we, him. So he put some, like there's a board over near my cannon pantry and the open deck. We didn't get any whippy winds. So after the storm was over and power was off, it went off at 1 a.m. My solar batteries didn't miss a lick. I get up and I'm like, damn, we ain't even got internet, which tells you a tree's down, right? And it's pulled your cable, whatever. But my DirecTV never quit working. It just rumbled the whole time. So you didn't feel so out of communication. So we go walking down our driveway, everything's fine. On the other side of the street, you would thought you were in war-torn frickin' Beirut. The north winds of it hit across the street from us.
Oh man.
Trees on
And
houses.
that's how it can do. That's exactly how it can do.
And we're like, why the hell ain't we got power? So then we finally get internet back, and the fire department's taking pictures, trying to get down the highway, and there are trees all over the place. It took out 2 transmission lines. So the beach was in the dark, the island was in the dark, and people do fine till it gets hot. And you start taking the boards off your window and you opening your windows up. And of course, we got screens. We were not attacked by no-see-ums because I think the love bugs are eating them. So God may have sent them just for this. But we had the luxury of having our ceiling fan work over our bed because we've got a secure panel for solar. We've got our cheap $15 Fred fans. They're
Right.
tall, thick, and they oscillate, so we could plug one in on each side of our bed because it is misery incorporated trying to sleep in that heat. But we were able to put our ceiling fan on high. We had hot water because we have the hot water solar panel. I see you, Mom. You look
There's
pretty.
Mom.
Mom.
There's the gorgeous lady. I'm so
Hello.
glad you made it back in.
I don't know how long I'm going to be. I'm buffering.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had that problem outside. That's why I came in and got on the tablet.
But you did good for a long time, moms. It hadn't buffered till then. So
Well,
then,
I'm using my phone, and it says before you come into this area that it's extremely experimental.
yeah,
And there's a lot of features that I don't have on my phone that y'all have.
gotcha.
Could be
And
that. Who knows?
I talked to moms about this on the phone. So we did fine, right, through the power outages because our freezers are going. It's hot. You're not running your air conditioning. You ain't going to run your dryer, for freak's sake. And sometimes it was cooler to sit out on the screen porch than it was inside. And only one person here has a big, what do you call it, whole house generator, but they still can't run their air conditioner on it. They can't run all their freezers on it and that sort of thing. So we get our power back. And 2.5 days after the storm, my little AT&T phone, there's AT&T and Verizon here, doesn't have a single frickin' bar because
Oh no.
I was able to get on the internet with my hotspot, right? Because I had like one bar during the storm. But Verizon was out too. So when you don't have any bars on your phone, you can't use your personal hotspot. You realize if we'd had an injury, and we're all old people here, remember, average age here is 72. I'm like the young one at 62. We'd have had to ride our bikes to a fire station, drag it over some fallen trees, some hot ass power lines, maybe check out a couple hot. Let me tell you, we had some linemen came who were not from South Carolina. I think they were from Alabama because they were fine. Listen, you can play with a boy from Bama, but you don't want to keep him because they're you just don't talk. Just stand there and look tall and handsome and ripped. But it was for 24 hours and 5 minutes. So of course, once we all get online, and then there was no explanation except they had a massive power outage. Really, 3 days after the storm.
Right.
I call that suspicious. And I'm no big
Exactly.
conspiracy, but that was some bleepity bleep explanation. So anyway, after Dorian, we said, imagine if that storm had moved closer to our coast. And of course, you got flood insurance covers only 250,000. Then you got to have full content replacement. I'm old. I don't want to build another house for 6 months, right? I really don't want to. So I said, let's start looking at lake property. So I'm looking at Lake Greenwood and the upstate, and then I'm thinking, because we got to be at a budget because we're going to have to add solar. We'll only need like 9 panels. And then I went off my dock and caught a damn tarpon, a freaking tarpon, people in a tidal creek. Dale drug it down the dock, screaming for help from my husband because it was so crazy. And so we decided that was a sign from God. If the next one comes and kills us, it's a good place to die. But we don't want to leave now.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well,
My
I
mom
will
told me
say,
was
I will say that this is a good case for ham radio.
Yes.
Not hard to do, and if you don't have communication ability through normal networks,
Mhm.
ham radio will get you communicated. I'm just going to throw that out there.
No, you were spot on because we have our two little, what do you call them, Beijing something.
Mhm.
But it just really got our attention, Nina. Think about it. All these old people, many people have a heart attack or a stroke after a hurricane. Remember the pressure change, the stress. Now they're not in a controlled environment I'm getting hiccups, excuse me, with air conditioning. And that is, so there is something, nobody had communication, but who could me and Kevin communicated with, right? It's like, wow, this is crazy. So it was very interesting, but you are spot freaking on
Yeah,
about,
but to be able to get help if you
yes,
don't have cell phone signal
yep.
is, it's
Mhm.
the
just, in my
ham
opinion,
works
it's
for that.
important. Yeah.
Because it is unimaginable to have two huge carriers go out and it's 100% suspicious and it's
Yeah.
striking. You know what I mean? And I mean, these people went crazy without it. Their families couldn't check on them, anything. Remember, we used to be able to at least have a landline. Guess what? They didn't work either. Have about
Yeah.
Well,
I have
all
an old
that
clear princess.
fiber
Oh,
cable for the Verizon and all that's supposed to be underground. The
yeah.
only thing is the transmission towers.
Hmm.
Yeah. Very strange.
Well,
Absolutely.
Yeah, yet had it
Yeah.
during a storm. I mean, sometimes you couldn't send a text. You couldn't call, but you could always send a text message.
Right.
So when my husband went to the grocery store, the pig, right? He's in line and there's the sheriff's deputy. And he goes, dude, do you know what's happening to cell phone? We can't even get on the internet. He held up both his phones. Here, they're required to have AT&T and Verizon because when one's out, the other one usually works. He said, I got no bars, bro.
Mhm.
We're going
Lot
old school
Fish
radio.
stuff going on.
Yep. So
That's
very
right.
scary. Yep. Very scary. But that is another thing to think of. You might survive that storm, but now how do you communicate?
That's
Mhm.
right.
Hmm.
That's
So it
right.
just
Or
seemed,
if, like during Katrina, the towers go down and the police can't
yes.
use their radios.
Didn't we learn that in 9/11? Wasn't that crazy? Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, Casey said I've heard ham radio operators are heroes when the power is out. I don't know about a hero, but I am a ham radio operator, and I just it's something I believe in.
Mhm.
I just think it's important.
You remember at Katrina, the only way they knew what was happening in New Orleans that the levees had broke was in downtown off Canal Street. A ham radio operator at a radio station was the one who the ambulance guy was able to get to.
WWL.
That was the only one communicating. And do you know they didn't want to believe him? It's like, I'm telling you, the city is filling with water. And if not,
Yeah.
he was an absolute hero because he had a generator running. It was only like a 4-story building or something. And then sure enough, 5 days in, Piglet, they got broken into and they start trying to steal his generator and gas. But if not,
He kept the radio station up and running by
yes.
himself
Hmm.
and gave everybody out because the news was getting it wrong.
Yes.
We were watching it and they kept saying the 18th Street Canal busted on this side. My mom's
Mhm.
looking at it and she's like, no,
Nope.
it's not.
Mm-mm.
That's the 17th Street Canal and it's on the other side. So yeah, a lot of the national news that got out there didn't know what the hell they were talking
Yep.
about.
So she's spot on when she says ham operators are heroes, Nina, because you're talking screaming the truth when nobody else will listen. And the
Yeah.
hospital, right, we're filling with water and they're having to, the nurses are sitting there with hand pumps and putting saline drips on themselves because they ain't had any water in the place in 3 days.
Right.
Southern
I went
Ohio.
back recently and lived there for a year because of my grandfather, and I
Mhm.
noticed that East Jefferson Hospital has raised their generators.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, which I mean, really, if you thought about it, I never understood it. The pump stations were on the ground.
Mhm.
Why would you have the pump station on the ground? Because it's supposed to pump out flood water.
Mhm.
Well, now the pump stations are raised.
Mhm.
They've rebuilt them and raised them so that they don't have as soon as the water came up, the pumps shut down.
Yes. Just like
So
people here with the Generacs, they can only raise them up so high, but the problem is they can't raise the fuel tank up because of codes. And SOP just said the local fire department has 3 ham operators on duty. That's part of the local CERT group. So
Yeah.
it is. And I think they learned a lot from Katrina, just from that radio guy. And do you know how exhausted he was, how hot he was in that building? And he kept going down there to refuel and bringing the facts because that city, like it always does with a Democrat controlled city, lied its tail off. And if
yeah,
it wasn't for him, it was unbelievable. And you know what was interesting? Who were the ones up on top of the roofs, right, with an axe? Was the United States Coast Guard. And who the hell got to Bahamas first was the United States Coast Guard with our brand new choppers, thanks to the president, and sadly had to get it with an omnibus bill. But the U.S. Coast Guard was there again. And the Bahamians can't quit talking about the Coast Guard, the Coasties.
they a lot of people don't realize what they do during a storm like that. How many rescues they do, and just normal stuff during a storm, or people get out in the Gulf and need help and all. People don't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
it's not just the storm, having your preps to survive, to eat some good food. And when you're out there and you start dragging branches and things out of your yard, oh, and we had 0 water under our house. In Matthew and Irma, we had 14 inches under our house. So they had originally said for Charleston, they're going to have a 10-foot tide because it's coming in on king tide. And my husband's using his little hurricane map, right? And he goes, it's not coming when the tide comes. So he made everybody evacuate. My house only raised 9 feet. Our tide would be 9 feet. It didn't happen like that. It was just freakish. But across the street, you'd have thought all hell broke loose with trees wrapped around. And I was just sitting here looking stupid and didn't have so much as a branch down.
Could have been a little tornado come through there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And see, that's the other freakish thing is, my solar rocks, till a hurricane sucks the damn panels off my roof and sucks out my batteries behind it and everything.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that could happen, You think about it, if you lose your, right, or a tree falls down on it, right? So it was like, but yeah, it was scary. But it wasn't as whippy wind or anything like Irma. But, and the other thing for first aid, think about it. You're out there dragging branches. Let's say you had a lot of water. Snakes are going to go to a dry place. You're going to get lots of cuts and you need to be up to date on your first aid or you start getting infections. And remember, after it, we had for 24 hours and 10 minutes almost, we had zero ability to communicate with anybody. So if a rattler bit us, or a timber rattler or a cottonmouth, we're just screwed.
That is so scary. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
To be completely cut off with no ability whatsoever to communicate. Golly.
So the ham radio that you said is no joke. So you don't just think of that immediate thing. And you could be like the Bahamas, you could be well prepped, but when the 20-foot storm surge comes, all your bottles or water are gone. But at least you can have a pantry full of stuff in the event that for all these hurricanes, we've been fine after and been able to carry on without eating, ramen noodles.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Have a good night, Tina.
Good night, Tina.
Good night.
Are
Awesome.
y'all double
Thank you.
screening where you can see the chat? Because when I pull up chat, I can't see the screen. I mean, I can see the chat, but I can't see y'all.
You don't need to see us.
Y'all are looking at it on a separate.
I'm looking on the tablet. I don't have a chat either.
Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on y'all's end how you see the chat.
I think it's because I'm on a tablet and I'm not on my laptop. But I think I grabbed the right bag that has the cord to plug in the laptop.
Yeah, so, if you open up if you open up another screen, you can go to the YouTube channel and look at it there.
Yeah, but the phone, phone was doing something about the internet, so I don't know if we're got too much going because they're watching a movie and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well, anyway, I am so glad that we were able to have this discussion about canning bread and cakes in.
Okay, so let me get it straight. You cannot can a cake in a jar.
No, ma'am.
In the oven.
In the oven.
I'm gonna write that in my notebook.
Yeah.
You don't do it.
You can't water bath can it. You can't pressure can it. And if you put it in the damn oven, you ain't canning it at all.
Right.
So don't call it canning banana. Because you ain't.
Yeah.
And it has eggs in it.
Yes. Oh, God.
Just don't do it.
Or anything with oil.
Sugar.
Oil turns rancid. Oh, that's the most horrible taste in the world.
The smell of rancid oil is like, ugh.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So do you have any more last final thoughts? Mom Slayer, what about you, lady? I'm so glad you were able to get in here.
Oh, me too. I just suggest that everybody do research. The Center for, I always get this wrong, Center for Home Food Preservation. Check those websites. Anything that you want to can, just check it out. I am a rebel canner, but I check out the information and then decide if I'm willing to take that risk. Check your extensions. Just research everything and then be comfortable with what you're doing. And if you're going to put a freaking video out and it is rebel canning, say it's rebel canning. You know,
That's right.
this is
Absolutely.
how I do it. I'm not telling you this is how you should do it. Just make a declaration that it's not proper.
Yep. Absolutely. Miss Mickey, thank you so much for joining me. Do you have any final
Yay.
thoughts?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Botulism will kill you.
There you go. There you go. Piglet, what about you, lady? Thank you so much for joining me.
Don't can bread. Just saying.
Absolutely.
I hear
Absolutely.
from people, that's not good. So don't can bread.
You hear from people.
Yeah.
Miss Pat, I'm so glad you were able to join us tonight. Did you enjoy yourself tonight?
Oh yeah, tremendous.
Awesome.
I just want to say that, remind everybody that home canning is perfectly safe, but it needs to be done correctly.
There
You
you
don't,
go.
There
you
you
don't,
go.
you don't go buy these jars of cake off of Pinterest and Etsy.
Yep. Mouth Pose, thank you so much for joining us.
I got things to say. I'll try not to be so shy and inhibited if we do this again, but I did my best. Do you want to play Russian roulette with your family or your friends with what you put in the pantry? Because you don't want to put shredded zucchini in your freezer, or you want to have quick breads at your disposal. I have a cannon pantry because I live in a hurricane zone. We all live in a tornado zone, earthquake, crap happens, 9/11 happens. I need to know that what is in my pantry is safe. I don't need no cake. I can make enough cookies for 5 years to the damn apocalypse, okay, with just my chocolate chips and my flour because I have a damn gas oven, okay?
Yep.
Think about, why are you putting food in a jar, right? It ain't cute, it's pork, but that's a pulled pork sandwich right there, okay? Because I can make coleslaw and I got plenty of cabbage frozen, right? Why are you doing it? Are you playing Russian roulette, right? And in the name of God, don't rebel can things and give it to your friends. And worse than that, don't teach your children how to do it. Well, then pass it on to somebody else. And if you put oil in the jar, it isn't safe. Are you willing to die for a damn banana bread in a jar?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good information. All right, y'all. I thank you for joining me. I hope that you all have enjoyed the get together. This is some fabulous information that we've all came up with. And we're going to close out for the night. And I hope that everybody has a good week. And we will see you next time.
Thanks
Have a
for
good
coming.
night, everybody.
Night
Hey,
all.
Good night, everyone.
People.